So Zarlasht and David, it's an honor and it's a pleasure to be with you. Zarlasht, you're a co-founder of RTI, the Refugee Trauma Initiative. And David Altschuler, you've founded many initiatives working with refugees, most lately JRAN, to bring tens of different organizations together. Zarlasht, these are very difficult times for you, but I wanted to begin by asking you how you came to this work with refugees.
Thank you for having me on, Rabbi Jonathan, and thank you, David. So I'm Afghan and I was displaced myself when I was young, when I was 11 years old. The last few weeks have been so traumatic and so difficult. I feel that, history is repeating itself, and the circumstances in which my family left when the state in Afghanistan collapsed, when ordinary life became completely impossible, and everything that my parents had worked for their whole lives, they both had livelihoods. My mom was a teacher. They had dreams, nobody dreamt about leaving Afghanistan. Their dreams were very similar to someone who might be living in London, of, staying in their home, marrying their children off, becoming grandparents, all those things. And that all sort of shattered in a moment of, horrific violence. And we were forced to leave our home. And I feel that that's happening again in Afghanistan. And the cycle of trauma and cycle of violence continues. And for the last 20 years, many Afghans have worked incredibly hard to set up different institutions, to nurture a fragile democracy, to set up schools, to set up, to work in arts and make music and create art, all those different things. And that's essentially gone in a space of a few weeks. And I was just speaking to a friend of mine today in Kabul, and he was saying how strange it was to walk across the streets and not hear any music, because that's been all silenced. And just that ordinary kind of everyday experience, which are colored by your interactions with your neighbors, listening to music, turning on the TV and watching a film, that's all been shut down. And it's really difficult to describe how that feels for Afghans and Afghanistan. And for those of us who are outside, it just feels completely devastating.
Yeah. So what do you think we can do from here to facilitate the flow of refugees from not only to the UK, but to be able to get to places in Europe like Greece?
Well, I think, some of the work that I've been doing, RTI has been doing in the past few weeks, is to help, help lobby the British government to allow more refugees to come to the UK. So we've been working with Choose Love to advocate for a number of Afghan refugees that meets the scale and the involvement of the British government in Afghanistan for the last 20 years. So I think that's something that we need to continue to do. I know that at the moment it's 20,000 over 5 years, but really that doesn't seem very realistic, especially as the country is beginning to sort of shut down and it's not very clear whether people will be able to leave. There is an unfolding humanitarian disaster in Afghanistan. So keeping attention on the country and making sure that the humanitarian assistance that is necessary for the country is able to get there, or the countries that have pledged to help, that they actually meet those obligations. And I think the third thing is, for those Afghans who are arriving in the UK, there are very practical ways that families can be supported to integrate into a new country, to meet new people, to be able to access the workplace. Something that I'm quite concerned about is that a lot of Afghans who are highly skilled, highly educated will come to the UK, but they won't be able to get the kind of jobs that they've been doing. So there's a lot of work that can be done in the UK to make sure that they can transition into into the society well enough. And of course, a big part of that is supporting their mental health. What's been going on in Afghanistan for the last 40 years has been incredibly traumatic. So making sure that there's adequate support that can help people overcome the experiences that they've had is really important.